Hi 7th graders, I hope you have been doing well. Today we are going to talk about the second lesson of Unit 1, and that is all on absolute value. So to do that, you're going to go to Schoology, and you're going to find where it is, depending on what student you are, if you're distance learner, if you are Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, Friday. So I found 1, 2 absolute value. I'm going to click on that. Our learning target today will be I can identify absolute value using a number line. So what you are going to do is you are going to watch the video and then complete 2 sections of IXL. So when we click on the attachments, there's the links to the IXL. We are going to go to the notes and send this to Notability. I'm going to create a new note, put it in Unit 1 and import. Alright, so our topic today is absolute value. You can fill out that part on your own, and our learning target is I can identify absolute value using a number line. Alright, so to get started, we are going to look at exploring integers. So if we look at this graph, or at this picture, we need to write an integer that represents the elevation of each object and then use it to answer the questions below. So before we even look at the questions, we are going to figure out what integer represents each one, A through I. So A, I would say it is 5,000 meters. It's flying right at that line, so I would say that's 5,000. Our C-plane, I would also say that is about 2,000. It's right on the line, so our C-plane is 2,000. Our bald eagle, this one's a little tricky. We're going to have to try to estimate. So like right here I would say would be 500. So I would say the bald eagle is flying at about 600 meters above sea level. Now letter D is talking about the leatherback turtle. So here's our turtle. So if we look, right here is 0, right here is negative 1,000. I would say the turtle is somewhere in the middle, wouldn't you? So I would say it's about 500. Is it positive or negative? Right, it's negative because it's below the surface. So this line right here was 0. Anything below that is negative. Alright, let's look at the USS Dolphin. The USS Dolphin is like right on the line, so I would say that's negative 1,000 meters. Letter F, we're looking at our whale. What do you think? I would say the part that's most important is about at 2,000, so I would say that is at negative 2,000. Jason Jr. Oops, did not mean to do that. So Jason Jr. is this right here. So this line is negative 4,000. I would say it's not quite at negative 4,000, so I would say it's at negative 3,800. And then our next one is Elvin, which is right there. So here's negative 4,000, here's negative 5,000. I would say that's somewhere in the middle. So I would go with negative 4,500. And then our last one is Kaiko, which is right here. So I would say Kaiko's at negative 7,000 meters. Alright, so we have done the first step. Now, number 2, which pair of objects are the same distance from sea level? So, again, I'm going to highlight sea level, which is right here at the 0. I should choose a different color so it stands out a little more. right there is 0. So let's look at our numbers. Are there any numbers that are the same? Right, we have a -2,000 and we have a 2,000. So I would say the seaplane and the whale. Are there any others that are the same distance from sea level? I would say there's one that's really close that we don't have the same numbers. But if you look at the bald eagle and the leatherback turtle, those look like pretty close to the same distances from sea level. Would you agree? Alright, so bald eagle and the turtle. Awesome. Now we're going to look at number 3. The vessel Keiko ascends to the same depth as the USS Dolphin. About how many meters did Keiko travel? So Keiko ascends to the same depths as the USS Dolphin. So ascends means rises up. So if Keiko is going from -7,000 rising up to 1,000, how many meters is Keiko traveling? Let's do 7,000 minus 1,000. Keiko is traveling 6,000 meters. And is it going down or is it going up? Right, it's going up. So Keiko is ascending, which means he's getting higher. So he is traveling 6,000 meters. Awesome. So now we are going to get into absolute value. So let's look right here and fill this out. This box right here is going to say absolute value. So absolute value is the distance a number is from 0. A characteristic that is very important about absolute value is that it is always positive, no matter what. Alright, so some examples. If I have these symbols right here, the 2 lines, which it looks like, is the absolute value symbol. So, -4, the absolute value of -4 is just 4. The absolute value of 4 is always positive, so it would just be 4 as well. So absolute value is always positive no matter what. Alright, so let's find the absolute value of these numbers. So we're trying to find the absolute value of -4. The absolute value is going to change that positive, so our answer is just 4. Looking at number 2, the absolute value of 15. Again, it's going to keep it positive, so it's just 15. Number 3, the absolute value of 0. 0 is neither positive or negative, so it just stays 0. And then the last one, the absolute value of -6. Absolute value changes it to positive, so it becomes a 6. Alright, so now we're going to look at this next question. We need to explain the difference between the opposite of a number and the absolute value. So, remember the opposite, if it's negative, it makes it positive. If it's positive, it makes it negative. So the opposite of a number can both be negative and positive. Now the absolute value of a number, what did we talk about up above? The absolute value of a number is always what? Right, it's always positive. I'm going to underline the word always, because no matter what, the absolute value is going to be positive. So that's the big difference between the opposite of a number and the absolute value. The opposite can be negative and positive. The absolute value can only always be positive. So now let's look at comparing values. When we look down here at number 1, we're going to compare using the less than, the greater than, or the equal sign. So, -4 in absolute values. What is the absolute value of -4? Right, it is just 4. So we have 4 and -2. Which number is bigger? Right, 4 is bigger than -2. Let's look at the second one. So I have -5. There's no absolute value, so it just stays the same. And then I have 5 in absolute values. That's going to change it to what? Right, it's just going to change to 5 because it's an absolute value and it's always positive. So -5 or 5, which is bigger? Right, 5 is bigger, so we have -5 is less than 5. Number 3, I see an absolute value of -2. Absolute value of -2 is going to change that to a +2, and then my 0 is going to stay the same. And we all know that 2 is bigger than 0, so 2 is greater than 0. Alright, number 4, I have 2 absolute values here. So the absolute value of -4 is 4. The absolute value of -5 is 5. 5 is bigger than 4, so I'm giving it the less than sign because the absolute value of 4 is less than the absolute value of 5. Alright, and our last section, we are going to simplify each expression. So, to do this, we need to simplify our absolute values. -2 absolute value changes to 2, and then we have the plus sign, so we're going to keep that. And then the absolute value of -4 is 4. So 2 plus 4 gives us 6. Great work. We have one last problem. Now, when everything is inside the absolute values, we need to solve the problem first. So 9 minus 5 gives us 4. So I still keep my absolute value sign. And now what is the absolute value of 4? Right, it is just 4. So our answer is 4. Alright, now your assignment is to complete these two IXLs, B4, B.4, and B.7, and they are both under 7th grade math. If we go back to Schoology, it will tell us and send us the links to both of those. If you click on one, it will send you right there and you might need to log in. If you don't know your login, don't worry, just send me an email or a message on Schoology and I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you have any questions about Lesson 1-2, please let me know. Otherwise, have a great day, 7th grade, and I will talk to you later. Bye!